EverSiege Untold Ages is basically what happens when you take a MOBA and strip out all the PvP stuff, then turn it into a roguelite where you're defending a city called Bastion from waves of enemies. The game's main hook here is that you're not just running around as a hero, you're also managing a base economy and building defenses at the same time. If you have ever played games like They Are Billions, where you build up fortifications while fighting off hordes, then this one has the same energy, but you are directly controlling a character too. So here's the basic setup. You pick one of 5 different weapon types, called war gears. There's a bow, daggers, axe, sword and shield, or a lance. Then you combine that with one of 6 elemental essences, which determines what kind of spells you get. If you want to freeze enemies and then burn them, you can absolutely do that. You can also melt them with acid. The game has around 72 different spell variations, depending on how you mix things, so there is quite a bit of room to experiment with different builds. Once you're in a run, you're dropped into a procedurally generated map. The game has stuff like a day and night cycle, and the nights are when the big enemy waves show up. During the day, you're running around the map collecting resources, fighting neutral monsters, finding altars that give you stat boosts, clearing out creature camps for skill shards, and raiding dungeons for artifacts. You're also spending gold to build up your base defenses, stuff like archer towers, catapult towers, barracks that spawn soldiers and knights automatically, and gates to slow down enemies. The base building part is of course very important, because you can't just rely on your hero to do everything. You have to balance spending gold on military buildings versus economic buildings like gold mines. Your units will fight alongside you during the night waves, and if you upgraded them properly, they can definitely hold the line while you deal with the bigger threats. The game has about 20 different troop types total, and you can evolve them through various buildings and upgrades. Your character levels up during runs, and you pick from random stat increases and abilities. The stats have names like Rage, Fate, Arcane and Tactical Amplifier, and different skills scale of different stats, so you are making choices about whether to boost your damage, survivability, or special abilities. You also find plenty of items throughout the map. The game has about 148 of them, including artifacts, relics, shards and potions. If you die, you don't lose everything. There's a meta progression system where you unlock permanent upgrades, things like extra starting gold, better experience gain, improved tower damage, that sort of thing. You can also unlock new passive abilities for your character. The endgame involves time travel where you go back and face harder versions of everything, with new bosses and challenges. The map layout changes. The multiplayer option lets up to 3 people play together. The game's difficulty scaling can be aggressive. The enemies get tougher as the nights progress, and if you don't secure extra gold mines early, or grab the right upgrades, then the later waves can very much overwhelm you. Pretty fast too. Death doesn't have much penalty though, so you can take risks without worrying too much. The whole thing runs maybe 30 to 50 minutes per attempt, depending on how long you survive. It definitely has that one more run quality. The game is not perfect of course. The movement and pathfinding can be pretty clunky. You will definitely get stuck on terrain when trying to dodge attacks, which can be annoying when you're trying to kite enemies or avoid big damage. Some of the enemy attacks also don't give you much warning, so the telegraphing could use some work. Your basic attacks also feel pretty weak for most of the run, so you are heavily dependent on your abilities and your troops doing the work. And like I said, the enemies scale up pretty fast and get pretty tanky as the nights go up. So if you don't prioritize the right upgrades, then you can find yourself struggling to kill anything, while the waves just keep coming. Before we close this video today, a quick side note. I'm able to share game keys from some of the titles I cover with my Patreon supporters each month, thanks to my new publisher partnerships. You see, I actually only have a handful of Patreon supporters right now, so there will be way more keys than I could give out. Most people go for the €5 tier, but it actually starts at just €2 a month, making it pretty much a no-brainer. The link is in the description, and that genuinely helps keep the channel future-proof. And this sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.